my friend Courtney, she's working on a course. What's your advice for people like them?
I think the main thing I would tell Courtney is not to skip the fundamentals. Don't skip the important work of figuring out who it is that you serve and what is it that the pain that they're in and what is that outcome? How can you paint that outcome in the best way
Mhm.
possible so that your customer really wants to have that? Um, I think two other tips I would share for that are um, when one way to make things more appealing, right, to refine your offer, are to think about what are the systems that your customer is usually struggling with to get the outcome. So if we go, what is her course on? What is Courtney's course about?
Oh, it's for managers to become a better manager. Like it include one-on-one, it include how to treat your employee, how to coach them, how to do feedback, and everything that a manager, a new manager needs to do or need to learn so that he or she can become a better manager.
And is that a manager in what type of company or industry?
I don't think it applies that way. It's a
So
more generic.
so if I took this course, could I use it in a SaaS company? Like if I'm working in a SaaS product, like would you think her course would be useful?
I think so because it's more on the people management side, and how do you basically treat your employee better so they are more productive. SaaS company or a manufacturing company or a software development company.
Hmm. Yeah. I hear, things like that, like offers like that, where it's like a manager course for any type of manager.
Mhm.
And my gut instinct right there is to say, let's get more focused. Because when you're very generic, it sounds like the type of course that you could find on Udemy for $10, or it sounds like something that you could just read in a book.
Mhm.
But when you get more specific, what happens is everything about your course, all of the modules, all of the worksheets, and all of the one-on-ones and whatever, however you're delivering the value, becomes so specific, so fast, and so interesting that you're able to charge more, right?
That's interesting. That's seriously very interesting.
So, for example, if we use your example, can we use your example of where you work?
Yeah, please, please.
If we use our example of a manager working in a SaaS company versus working in a, I don't know, a school or a government. If I'm working in government and I'm a manager, there's going to be so many different needs there than in a SaaS. How you communicate, is this virtual? Is this what are we talking about? Are we talking about software? And what are the tools that you use in a
Mhm.
SaaS versus the tools here? Do you use Asana? Do you use Trello versus here are using Google Sheets and Microsoft Project, are using the whole Microsoft Office suite to get things done and communicate? Whereas here, you may be using Slack and you're maybe using Zoom and all these other technologies. What are the measures of success? How do you measure success in here versus here? Here, if you're a SaaS, you're linked to the product success. So it's like feature extensions, churn rates,
Mhm.
MRR. How do you bring those things in as a manager and improve those KPIs? Versus if you're in government, then what are the KPIs there? It's, I don't know, voters and donations and votes and I don't know, whatever else. Those are different outcomes that the manager needs to be able to get out of their team. And like I can clearly see that if I were to teach a manager to be better at decrease, helping his UI designers or whatever developers to
Right.
decrease churn, that's a very different conversation, different context, which will require different tools to get that outcome. Versus here on this end, how do we get more donations? I feel like there's enough difference there
Mhm.
that you could make it so clear, so specific that when you go to market and you show this offer to the person, like if you're a SaaS manager and you say, look, take this course and I will help you decrease your churn rate by 17% month over month. That will speak so clearly and so to the heart of the problem of the SaaS manager that the SaaS manager is like, this is exactly, how does this person know what I'm thinking? They're speaking exactly my language. They're talking to me specifically about my problem. That's the exact, what we call this 2 a.m. problem that I have when I put my head on my pillow at night, right? Which is usually a good barometer of, are you solving a good enough problem? If you're solving, if your problem, and you can, that's another tip for Courtney. If your manager, if your avatar puts their head on their pillow at night, what is that one thing that's waking them up at night? Are they saying to themselves, oh, I wish I could be a better manager? Or are they saying, man, I wish I could get my developers to finish all their code on time so that I wouldn't have to go back to my VP and ask for more money? What is it? What is that thing that's keeping them up at night? You want to solve that problem. You want to be the boss at solving that. Because if you can solve that, that SaaS person will gladly hand over their money, pull out their credit card and say, yo, teach me, give me this solution because I'm staying up and I need a solution.
Wow. Here's why I'm amazed by this conversation. Almost 3 years ago, I started writing my book, How to Be a Better Manager. I am in the software. All my experience, all my knowledge is related to software. And in my head, I keep convincing myself that I have to write more generic so that any manager can use, versus being very specific that how to be a good manager in a software company. So I did exact opposite of what you're suggesting. And now just by hearing you, it clarify a lot that I should not have done it.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry to hear that, I'm sorry to hear that you abandoned your product and your book and you came to that realization now. But this is a fundamental, right? Like what I said to Courtney, don't overlook the fundamentals. This is a fundamental thing that we do in marketing. We have to be very diligent about who we're trying to serve and what problem we're trying to solve, as you do in software, right? Build things people want. That's the Y Combinator maximum. And when the big outcome of what we're doing with our clients is making sure that we're building things, and those things are courses that people want.